Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is all set and ready to introduce many different revelations that will lead to saga-wide implications in this story by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, we are just a little over 1 month away from the official release of The Rise of Skywalker, and that this movie really is going to be a big deal to Disney and Lucasfilm, and not just to them as companies, but also to us, the Star Wars community, because of how big of a movie it really is going to be. After all, this is the end of the Skywalker saga, and is going to serve as, of course, the very end of the story that started back in 1977 by George Lucas with A New Hope. Now, with that being said, we do know that this movie is, of course, going to be taking many different risks, as well as introducing many different pieces of nostalgia, including connections to the prequels and the originals. Now, with that being said, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions. This is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that shot description consisting of a sequence where it's explained that both Rey and Kylo Ren are said to be standing next to each other and are acting as if they are now civil toward each other. It's described that they are based within a strange environment that holds a blue hue around them, with the canyons in the background where they begin to hear the Force Ghost voices of the past reaching out to them. It's explained that they begin to hear the Force Ghost voices of Luke, Yoda, Kenobi, and even Anakin Skywalker during the scene, where one of the sequences is said to involve Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost appearing as he did in Revenge of the Sith as a young man, and in the form that Hayden was in Episode 3, whereas Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost is said to casually walk closer toward both Rey and Kylo, giving them a lecture about Palpatine and the ways of the dark side. It's described that Anakin's Force Ghost begins to age by shape-shifting into a different design, where Anakin now has longer hair that is gray with a beard in the sequence, and has wrinkles with a slightly deeper voice. It's explained that Anakin's Force Ghost goes through 3 different phases in the process in terms of his appearance, and that this is described to put Kylo and Rey into a state of confusion as to who they are seeing before their very own eyes. So let's go over a couple of parts about this and as to why this really is adding a new medium to the Star Wars franchise. Now, this entire Force Ghost evolution aspect in Star Wars really started with director Rian Johnson, as you guys may recall, that in, of course, The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson gave Yoda the ability to manipulate the mortal world by creating lightning from the sky to strike the tree library, burning it down to the ground. Now, what's interesting about JJ's take, though, is that he really wants to evolve the concept of Force Ghosts having the ability to shapeshift into different versions of themselves, either younger or older. And what I like about that, though, is that it kind of gives us a different view of Anakin Skywalker. Now, I know that a lot of people out there are going to have different opinions about them choosing an older version of Anakin, and of course, like a middle-aged version of Anakin Skywalker as well, but mind you that there are going to be little brief glimpse of course, the young version of Anakin that we all know and love in Episode 3, portrayed by Hayden Christensen. Now, you guys may recall that we just went over recently that one of the big Hayden Christensen scenes as Anakin Skywalker were cut due to the reshoots, where there was going to be a flashback scene where Anakin's Force Ghost would have a reunion with Luke while he was still alive. That was ultimately cut from the movie, where in this scenario, it's said to be Anakin having a reunion with all of the Force Ghosts, including Yoda, Luke, Kenobi, you name it, in front of both Rey and Kylo Ren, as he shapeshifts in front of them within the netherworld of the Force. Now, let's get on to the netherworld of the Force. Now, this is exactly why J.J. Abrams wants to introduce new mediums to the franchise. He basically wants to really make us look at Star Wars in a different light and see different sides of the story that we never really got to see in a live-action Star Wars movie. Now, in Star Wars Legends, we were actually able to see exactly what the netherworld of the Force looked like in the form of a comic in the late 1990s into the early 2000s with Yoda. And Yoda was able to actually show some Jedi exactly what the netherworld looked like. Now you can really see exactly how JJ's doing this and giving Luke the ability to show both Rey and Kylo Ren what the netherworld is all about and exactly who is associated with the netherworld of the Force, this mysterious realm that allows the consciousness of past Jedi to really just live on forever. Now, what I like about that, though, is that this is also the opportunity for both Rey and Kylo Ren to realize that there is more to the story than just the light side and the dark side of the Force, and that the concept of immortality really is a real thing. As Yoda said to Obi-Wan Kenobi at the very end of Revenge of the Sith, that his old master, Qui-Gon Jinn, has learned the path to immortality. And that's a very interesting aspect, you know? It really makes you wonder, you know, what's going to go on with the Kenobi TV series when it comes to Kenobi's training with Yoda from afar, trying to commune with Qui-Gon Jinn. I mean, they gotta throw that in there. It matches up with the rumors as well that we went over about 7 months ago. So with that being said, I will say that I'm very excited to see exactly what this is really going to look like on the big screen. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.